What's happening, guys? It's me, Parth, and I've been using the OnePlus 3T for a while now. And even though it's been around for all these 4 months, I really wanted to talk about how the device has caught up with time and also with all the releases that we have seen so far. So it should be fun. So starting off with the design, as you already know, it's identical to the OnePlus 3 but with a slight variation in the color, which I do like. But the thing with the design is, the first time you'll see it, you'll absolutely love it, especially during the time of unboxing, because the experience itself is just so rich. But then as I spend more and more time with this, I realized that the design does not really have anything new. It's just the basic generic design inspired by almost every other smartphone. It's got that same antenna lines, the huge camera bump, which is kind of an issue if you don't really use a case, because if you type on a table, unlike me, it might rock a bit, although it would definitely not wobble. But the company does claim that the metal boundary enclosing the camera lens is a bit raised, so it protects the lens from coming in direct contact of any surface. But I will still recommend you to get some extra protection, which leads me to the build quality of this device. It does have a full metal construction, which is hands down one of the best aspects of this device considering the price it sells at, and I have to give it to the folks at OnePlus for their attention to detail. I mean, literally everything is metallic, and then those chamfered edges that not only run all across the phone but also across all the various buttons, including the home button, the power button, the volume buttons, and then that alert slider, of course, that has a pattern engraved on it that adds more grip. Basically a really fascinating construction overall. But do note that this is a really slippery phone and also a really fragile one, so you inevitably would have to get a skin or a case. But my recommendation, as always, would be to get a Rhino Shield case, which in this case would be a bumper one, since that is the only one that they make for this device. But it's literally the only thing that you'll ever need. It's very powerful, very rigid, very tough, and can protect the device from some serious drops. I'll leave it linked below. But one of the most underrated things about this design is that the OnePlus 3 or the 3T is actually not a very small phone. It's a pretty big phone. I mean, it's got a big chin with a home button and a big forehead as well. So pretty big bezels, but it does not really feel that big, unlike a lot of other smartphones like say the iPhone 7 Plus, which is one of the biggest phones I've ever held in my hand. But the best perk of owning a OnePlus device is hands down the software. Software has actually been one of the most distinguishing features for OnePlus devices, because it's almost as if it's coming directly from Google without any alterations in between, and that actually leads to a seamless user experience. It's not the quickest in getting updated, at least I didn't get my updates the first, but I am running on 7.1.1, so that's pretty good, and the experience, as always, is completely smooth. There is absolutely no extra junk, just what you need, with a couple of features that don't really interfere in the UX, rather add to it, like the ability to choose between on-screen or off-screen buttons, which I guess is OnePlus exclusive, correct me if I'm wrong, and also other features like choosing themes, pacing up or pacing down the animations, changing font size, changing icon size, basically taking advantage of the freedom that Android provides. I also kind of like the black theme, which actually goes really well with the midnight black color, really stealthy. Oh, and of course it gets the Google Assistant, which you know is phenomenal, so you can use it for all of your daily tasks and also to have some fun. But the main reason why Android is so smooth on this device is actually because of the specifications inside. It's got a Snapdragon 821, which has a 2.3 GHz of clock speed. It's a quad-core processor and it's not underclocked like the OnePlus 3, and it has 6 GB of RAM, which is definitely a sort of a luxury. You totally don't need it, but since you have it, you will pretty much never run out of memory. You can have multiple apps open at the same time, pretty much every app on your phone, and you still will be pretty quick. Now, I don't use the cameras on my smartphones, especially the front ones, but this time it kind of changed because I think that the OnePlus 3T has got perhaps the best front-facing camera of all the smartphones. It's got a 16 megapixel sensor at the front with an f2.0 of aperture, and it's insane. I mean, the amount of detail you get with the selfies you click, you have absolutely no chance of getting disappointed. As far as the rear camera is concerned, it's actually a pretty good setup. Again, 16 megapixels. I took a lot of advantage of the manual mode built into the camera app itself, and the colors, the white balance when all in my hands. I can basically produce an image that looks the way I want it to look, and that is incredible. but an average consumer basically wants to pull out the phone from his pocket, snap the moment, and put it back. That is something you might have difficulties to perform from the 3T. I've posted a few pics on my Instagram. Again, I'll leave my profile linked below. But the thing that I was actually most concerned about was, without any doubt, the battery. It has a pretty big battery inside, bigger than the one in the OnePlus 3, and it's great. I mean, on moderate usage, you can easily last through a full day, and if you use pretty hard, you might be able to kill it at the end of the day. But then you've got ridiculously fast charging, which the company calls as dash charge, and it's all made possible because of the 4 amp charger that the company ships with this device, and of course the 3 times thicker charging cable. It's insane. So at the end of the day, even after all these months of being around, even with all the major Android releases that we have seen so far, the 3T does remain a complete package. It's probably the only smartphone that has got so much incredible hardware, both inside out, great cameras, great features like dash charge, fairly consistent software updates, and of course that matte black finish. It still is without any doubt an absolute steal. So if you want one, I'll leave it linked below, and if you enjoyed watching this video, feel free to share and rate it, and stick around. I'll catch you in my next one. Take care.